Hi everyone, this video is going to be about why I went on Accutane and my experience with it. So, okay, so I'm going to start with when I started having problems with my skin. So, during my teenage years, I had, the T-zone. That was my main problem with my skin. It wasn't bad. I just had a few blackheads on my nose, maybe a few whiteheads on my forehead, but it was nothing hectic. It was something that I didn't even really feel the need to cover up when I went to school. It wasn't really anything really hectic. Um, so I had pretty good skin, and yeah, whenever I went for facials, they would always say, you have nice skin, you just need to take care of it. And yeah, so it was pretty good. Then, in my last year of high school, right at the end, around my exam time, I started to get these like really bad breakouts around my cheeks. And back then, it was just like 3 or 4 bad like pimples that were on my cheeks. So that's really when this all started, and from then on, I generally had, those like 3 or 4 at a time, pimples, which would be there. I mean, not gonna say that I constantly had these pimples, but I would always like have breakouts now and then, and it like bugged me for quite a while. Um, so it was in 2009 when this all first started. So from then, I hadn't had, this nice skin. So I always try these things that you get at the store, like Clearasil and, Young Solution, and all the stuff with salicylic acid in it, and also the stuff with benzoyl peroxide and tea tree oil, all the stuff that's supposed to dry up zits, like, those Zap It, like, roller balls where you see the zit coming and you put it on, and like 2 hours later it's supposed to be gone. And they honestly like didn't really work for me in the long run, especially. So went to a doctor. They prescribed me doxycycline, which is a very powerful antibiotic, and it worked. I'm gonna say it did work. I saw an improvement within like 2 weeks that my skin had calmed down, because what the doxycycline does is it stops the bacteria growing in your skin, which is what actually causes the pimples or the spots. But in the long run, the acne came back, so that didn't really work out for me. I tried other things like zinc tablets, even primrose oil, other like treatments. Those didn't work. Then eventually I got put on Diane 35, which is a contraceptive pill, and it's for mainly for shrinking your oil glands. So it makes your oil glands smaller, and they produce this oil, and so you get less pimples and your skin improves. Like, this has been found to be very good. Like, it's found to have worked very well for many people, but for me it worked pretty well for about 6 months, and then afterwards it stopped working. So I was still on it, but it had stopped working. And so then my skin started to get worse. It had been, at that point, it was worse than it had ever been in my whole life. And this was at the end of 2011. So I went to see a doctor at the beginning of 2012, like in January, like on the 7th of January or something like that. And I explained to her my history about my skin, which is very important that you do this with the doctor. I explained to her exactly like how I tried everything, and by then I'd known that I wanted Accutane, because I knew that I'd tried everything. And so she told me, I'm gonna put you on Accutane, and she weighed me, and she put me on 30 milligrams of Accutane per day. So basically I took these pills, Accutane, which is the generic, but it's the same thing. So 10 milligrams and another 20 milligrams pill per day. Yeah, and so before I could actually start taking the tablets, I had to perform a they had to perform a blood test on me, so they checked for stuff like pregnancy, because if you are pregnant, you can't go on Accutane, and you can't get pregnant while you're on Accutane because it'll affect the baby, and the baby will be born with birth defects, and it's not allowed. You're not allowed to be pregnant while you're on Accutane. A liver function test, because Accutane is metabolized by your liver, so you have to make sure that your liver works properly before you go on it. And then a blood lipid test, because when you're on your Accutane, your blood lipid levels, so like your cholesterol levels and your HDL levels and LDL levels, are increased or heightened. So if you already have, predisposing high cholesterol, you can't go on it because your cholesterol levels will be like off the charts. So yeah, so she also told me that while you're on your Accutane, you have to try your best to maintain a healthy diet, so low in fats, not too much sugar or anything like that, because you just want to be as healthy as you possibly can and put good things into your body, because Accutane is a very stressful treatment for your body. She also explained to me the symptoms, mainly the dryness, and she did say that I could be tired. These are symptoms that I did have, of course. I think most people that go on Accutane feel the dryness. It's definitely one of the telltale signs. But I also had nosebleeds, which were quite scary and also like a bit annoying. But the tiredness I'm gonna say it was my worst symptom, because I could have 4-hour naps. Like, I'd say, I'm napping for 20 minutes, 4 hours later I wake up. It was like a sleep coma, is what I called it. The plus side of the symptoms of Accutane is that, honestly, my hair never got dirty. Like, it never gets oily or greasy or anything like that. Also, my skin, I can go the whole day without it getting oily. Like, it hasn't been oily since before I started Accutane, so that's amazing. Yeah, so that's pretty much my Accutane story. And I've been on it for about 5.5 months. No, wait, not 5.5. I think 4.5. Yeah, 4.5 months. But now, all of my acne has cleared up. I do have a few scars, but they will fade with time. And apparently, after you stop your Accutane, that's when your scars actually start to fade and your skin can heal properly. So I'm looking forward to that. I have about 1.5 months left. I'm gonna go see my dermatologist just to check up and see if I'm good to go, or if I need to go on for longer. But yeah, so I've been pretty happy. I've noticed that it's worked, and I recommend you asking your dermatologist about it if you feel like you're in the same situation as I was. Yeah, and good luck. Bye.